Well, she sneaks around the world from Kiev to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. She'll take you for a ride on a slow boat to China. Tell me, where in the world is
this place? Sup, Metcalf School. Today is Wednesday. It is May 19th, I think. I am back on the continent of Africa. I'm in a country that is landlocked. And landlocked means there is no access to the ocean, to the sea. I'm not by the Mediterranean Sea. I'm not by the Pacific Ocean. I'm not by the Atlantic Ocean. I am in a country completely surrounded by other countries. It's an average sized country, I would say. It's slightly larger than the state of Montana, if you can picture what that would look like. Getting here was kind of an ordeal because there aren't any direct flights and you had to take lots of connections. It took me 24 hours and 4 separate flights to get here. And I'm sad to say not every flight had first class on it, so that stinks. This country has the most official languages of any country in the world. 16 official languages. Lucky for me, one of them happens to be what we like to call English. This country has a very tropical climate. It's moderated by altitude. There is a rainy season that lasts from like November to March, so you might want to skip coming here during that time unless you really like rain. Last week when I was in Peru, spoiler alert, the answer was Peru. Last week when I was in Peru, I talked about how biodiverse it was, meaning it had lots of different plants and animals. This country also has lots of different animals for you to be able to see. They have 350 different species of mammals, more than 500 bird species, and more than 131 fish species because they do have a lot of lakes. I know I said we're landlocked, so there's not like ocean fish. This is one of the few countries in the world where you can see the big 5 animals. That would be the lion, the buffalo, the rhinoceros, the leopard, and the elephant. So if you've ever wanted to go on a real safari, this would be a good place to hang out to do that. You could go to the Animal Kingdom at Disney World, but it's not exactly the same. Usually when I'm talking about these countries, I talk about how wealthy they are. This country is the opposite. It is a country where people don't have much money at all. 76% of the people that live in this country survive on less than $1.25 per day. Now, I don't know about you, but my breakfast probably costs more than $1.25 per day. So there's a lot of hunger. There's a lot of disease in this country. And that's why the people here have the lowest life expectancy in the entire world. Ladies, girls can only expect to live to be about 58, whereas the males only can expect to live to be about 57. In most parts of the world, it is very desirable for people to have flat stomachs. People with pot bellies, people with dad bods, they're not considered to be it's not considered to be a good thing. But in the country I'm visiting today, dad bods and pot bellies are symbols of success and wealth. So people want to have that, which is strange, I have to admit. Also, brand names in this country don't have a lot of pull, except that all toothpaste they call Colgate. So even if you use Crest or Aquafresh, they still call it Colgate. And all soft drinks are called Coke. So even if you're ordering an orange soda, it would still be an orange Coke. Or if you're ordering grape soda, it would be a grape Coke. So that's pretty interesting. Stand, join us in the pledge to the flag and the Metcalf mission statement.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At Metcalf School, we believe all students can achieve academic excellence and become lifelong learners and productive citizens. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. You may be seated.
Happy birthday to you, baby, today. And how old are you now? You look so lovely. Come and hug me. Sweet love, I wish a long read. Bakomere bukanda bunjo bwaka. Muleta bibalu ninga binje bimasa masa. Azali twelera tijaguze. Azali twelera katwetale. Njagala kirire njagala kirire njagala situka njagala situka njagala situka njagala. Happy birthday to you, baby, today. And how old are you now? You look so lovely. Come and hug me. Sweet love, I wish a long read. Abenganda n'emikwano tuli musanye ffenna tukwagaliza amazaalibwa amalungi. Show me a smile.
Today, we are wishing the happiest of birthdays to Jasmine Malieu and Madison Sherman. Hope your birthdays are awesome. The most impressive sight you're going to see in this country, well, besides all the animals, is this place called Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls is the world's largest waterfall. The water drops 354 feet down. The people who live in this country call it Mosi Oatunya, which means the smoke that thunders. So the thunder part, the noise part, is because if you are between 25 and 40 miles away, you can still hear the roar of the water hitting into the pool below. And the like smoke part is that there's this smoke mist cloud that's high above the falls. It really is a magnificent sight. They also have this place for you daredevils out there. It's called the Devil's Pool, which is like the most extreme infinity pool in the world. There's nothing really protecting you from going over the edge. Like they don't have like a fence or something. So you have to be super carefully because it only drops 328 feet straight down into the water. So this week I'm going glamping, which is camping for people who are glamorous like me. I don't think I'm glamorous, but anywho. So in this camp that I'm in today, it's called the Samalisa Camp. They have these really like luxurious tents that you stay in that have fans and they have a fireplace and you have your own private deck looking out over the savannah. You can hear the roar of the lions. I almost said the roar of the elephants. You could also hear the trumpet of the elephants. You know, I like trumpets. And you got this like private bathroom with you can like lay in your bathtub and look out over at the animals, which is pretty fancy. So you might be in a poor country, but you can live the glamorous life. You know, we all like to believe that there are mermaids out there, or maybe some of you want to be mermaids. Probably Mrs. Bressler would love to be a mermaid. But in the country I'm visiting today, they have like this really strong belief that mermaids really do exist. And so they say these mermaids cause all the terrible things that happen in this country. So the mermaids are responsible for famine, which is like people who don't have enough food. The mermaids are responsible for war, abductions, and many other crimes. It is believed that the mermaids hunt people, and whenever there are deaths or disappearances during catastrophes, they always say that it was the mermaids who took them, which is strange considering we're in a landlocked country. Last week, I was in the country of Peru. Lake Titicaca is in the Andes Mountains. And last but not least, Pizarro was the guy who conquered and discovered the Incas. The winners last week were Mrs. Lavoie, 1, 2, and 3, Mrs. Ewing Chow / Mariano, 1, 2, and 3, Mrs. Barber, 1, 2, and 3, Miss D'Amico, 1, 2, and 3, Mrs. Pigeon, 1, 2, and 3, Mrs. Goldman, 1, and 2, Mrs. Murdoch, 1, 2, and 3, Mrs. Millard, 1, Mrs. Neal, 1 and 2, Mrs. Leclerc, 1, Mr. Levitt, 1 and 2, Mrs. Colomb, 1 and 2, Mrs. McPhillips, 1, and Mrs. Wilbur, 1, 2, and 3. The questions for this week. Number 1, what country am I in? Not the continent. Everyone knows I'm in Africa, but what country is it? Number 2, name 3 other African countries besides the country I'm in today and South Africa, where we've already been. And number 3, who was the person who discovered Victoria Falls? Well, discovered, another thing that has to go in quotation marks because, of course, the native people were here and just this European dude says he discovered it. All right, have your teacher send me those answers, and we'll see you next week on Where in the World is